Hey everybody, 18th of March, Toronto, actually Newmarket, and Kitty's having a little nap and I'm going to go with her to work tonight at a major downtown teaching hospital in Toronto and deal with it as best I can. I'm the only administrator there on nights. I've had quite a lot of email to do. So I just wanted to say I really appreciate all the messages people have been dropping in the comments sections. Even the negative ones, I really do. It's important to discuss stuff and think outside the box right now, because the box has caught fire and there's just a bunch of ash. So what I've been doing today is I've been reorganizing my prepping supplies in the house. A lot of the stuff is actually at the Shire, but I'd unfortunately got quite a bit of stuff here. So I'll just give you a little bit of a walkthrough and a bit of a talk through. And then I want to talk about some of the stuff that we've been doing at work and some of the problems we're having. And I also want to give a stern warning to everybody, and specifically to healthcare workers in all fields, including paramedics. So I have the boxes and recycling ready to go. I have plenty of trash bags. I always get lots of trash bags. The dried food I have, actually more than I thought I had, so I've actually sealed it up because I don't want rats to get to it. And I've got a whole bunch of other stuff just scattered around, including stuff that I'm going to put in a backpack to take to work for emergency PPE. I am aware a lot of people want the emergency PPE video. I did the mask one, it's just search around and find it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full what to wear for PPE, for airborne, if you don't have medical grade equipment. And it looks likely that most healthcare professionals, at least in Canada, and it seems most places around the world, have been so badly let down by pandemic planners who make good money and have had made good money for a decade or more in preparing us for a major pandemic, and they've failed. So we can all bitch and complain, and certainly after this is over, which it should be over in hopefully by July, August, but nobody actually knows, we should have a Royal Commission in Canada. We should find the people responsible, investigate what they did and didn't do to prepare the country for the pandemic, and in some cases I think for sure charge them with criminal negligence leading to death. So I highly doubt we're going to run out of food. What we're going to run out of is variety and stuff like that. We've been really focusing over the last few weeks when we buy stuff to get stuff sorted out for variety. So we've got enough rice and pasta lasts forever. But you know, stuff like salt we've got a lot of. But I wanted to get more spices in, more turmeric in, and more exotic stuff. But it's kind of amusing what I've been finding so far. Bearing in mind, none of this stuff was boxed properly or labelled properly. It was just kind of shoved in boxes to be sorted out in the future. Well, the future's arrived. So these are cool finds. Like I said, I completely forgot I had all of these. These are actually black beans that I made myself, grew them in the garden, and I'm going to plant them in the spring. It's getting close to it. And a whole bunch of stuff here, and you can just see what's here. This is not stuff I'm recommending you get. It's stuff that I had put in various boxes and forgotten about, and there's a lot more of this stuff downstairs. A lot of it's free stuff like the Red Bull. I don't recommend it, but hell, I'm keeping it. So of course we're actually throwing out trash, and we're also throwing stuff out to Goodwill. I came across water, for lifeboat water, so that's for the car, and I actually put it in there. And I found some extra pandemic stuff, which is kind of pleasant. Even though it's not in great shape, it's usable, and I'm really happy I've got it. And I have some old hospital wipes from like years ago, from when I used to run. But one of the things we did recently was we actually went out and we actually bought, we've got more of this, but we actually bought a huge amount of wet wipes in case one of us in bed needs washing, and of course more trash bags. You really can't, if you're a healthcare professional or a paramedic, have too many trash bags right now. They are absolutely a gown. You can use them as single-use gowns, and they're also waterproof and they're long enough. The only thing is that Kitty says, well, my arms are exposed. Well, fine. Wash your arm, wash your forearm as well as your hands, right? That's what I said to her. I'm not really into creating a sealed suit, but you could do that. I know they're doing that in lots of places, but it's going to be very uncomfortable to work in. And I'd rather be comfortable and protect my face and make sure that I wash everything down afterwards. Came across my nut bags to do the black walnuts with, but I also came across quite a few bandanas. So yeah, they're going to go into a special bag which we'll carry in the car in case we run out of N95s, or the N95s we have recycled aren't working. Now I did promise everybody that I was going to look into recycling N95 masks, and I have. And I've come up to no conclusion whatsoever. What we're going to do is we're going to take the individual used N95 and we're going to keep it on as long as possible at work, in between patients, and we're going to put each one into a separate Ziploc bag, and then we're going to put that Ziploc bag into another Ziploc bag. That's then going to be left in the sun for about 14 days, maybe shorter, if it depends on time. 2 to 3 days of sunlight should do it. It's not that sunny today, but usually it is here. At the end of that, I think I'm going to bake it at 160 Fahrenheit. Other than that, I'm not keen on spraying with water or bleach or any sort of liquid onto the thing. It's the weave that I don't want to contaminate. The weave's the important part of the mask. The bands are important to seal it, but the weave is what you need to catch the micron size, to catch droplets. Now they're not going to catch much airborne, but they will catch most of it. So it's not a sealed spacesuit, but it's better, certainly better than nothing, and also better than an improvised bandana system. But the improvised bandana system is better than surgical masks. So this is a bag Kitty's just put together. What she's going to do is she's going to have a pair of work shoes and keep the work shoes in a sealed box that she's got somewhere. And she's also going to go in her scrubs, and she's going to change her work into normal clothing after she's finished work, and then wash her own scrubs. She's trying to get hospital scrubs, so the hospital launders them. A couple of things with that: it's hard to get to, and also I'm not keen with her using a shared scrub dispenser or automatic machines. A lot of people congregate there. I think it's better taking them home in a sealed bag and just open the bag inside the washing machine and wash them hot. I also asked her if she wanted me to start taking the hand cream. She's not that keen on it yet, but we're going to carry it just in case we need it. Good quality hand rub to keep your skin intact is vital. Also, a bit of an update. She's now actually decided that she wants to take this. So I don't recommend it. If you want to take this, absolutely talk to a doctor before you do. I'm not recommending it. But we are both at this point in time putting ourselves on it in the vague snake oil hope that it will prevent us from catching COVID-19 disease, or if we do catch it, it will make us feel better. Of course, that's the big unknown, isn't it? We could easily have it. We've both been sick on and off with upper viral respiratory syndrome that has not put us in bed that much, though I've been down a couple of times quite sick. But mostly we're just a bit short of breath on exercise, and we've just got a dry cough occasionally and all of those minor symptoms. So of course in a situation like this, everybody immediately thinks, I've got it, I'm going to die, and wants a test. Bear in mind, most of the tests are negative. Most of the tests that are positive have shown negatives, and the testing is horrible. Shove a bit of wire right the way back through here, okay, and do the swab. It's not a pleasant test. I wouldn't really recommend getting tested unless you are asked to be tested. It doesn't really do anything. If you think you have this disease, act accordingly. If you haven't got the disease, or you don't think you have the disease, act accordingly. Only go into the public if you are essential. Do not congregate for any other reason unless it's an essential trip. Wash your hands aggressively and cover your mouth and nose as much as you can. This has been airborne since it started. I told people months ago it's airborne. People have been arguing with me at work about this a lot, and it's airborne, and the World Health Organization finally had to admit it was. If you look at the spread in 2003 of SARS-1 coronavirus, you will note the spread pattern. Then have a look at the spread in China and abroad from SARS-CoV-2, the current one. It was obviously airborne or partially airborne. The spread was dramatic, swift and wide. And you don't get that from contact. I mean, you get spread, and you did in SARS-1, but it's different. This is your general med. Some stuff in there that we generally take, all these bits and pieces that are in there. I got my prescription meds up to date. There is about a 6-month supply there without rationing. I can safely, and I have in the past, easily ration those, and I could actually stretch it to a year if I needed to. But what I really need to do is exercise more, not work night shifts, and sleep better at night, and lose a bit of my fat. You'll probably notice that I've been losing weight. This is not by anything other than stress. Not a great way to lose weight. So I'm going to have some toast when I've shot this. So Kitty cranked open the wine last night, but we're both going to be drinking a lot less than we normally do, because it's not a great way to cope with stress, and also Knack might have some problems with it. So yeah, Kitty's got her wine barrels, all that set up. She's ready to rock and roll, and she got me Guinness, which was very nice of her. I did promise to show my Scotch collection, but first let's see if we can video the cats. Sweetums. Marmalade. Marmalade's still skittish. Biscuit is not particularly skittish, but she sometimes worries because Marmalade gives her the impression she should be frightened, and she really has nothing to be frightened of. So like most people's liquor cabinets, is a combination of stuff. Stuff from a trip 2 years ago. I like this stuff a lot, but we're keeping it. And I really like this if you like Scotch. I'm not really a big fan of Irish whiskey. This is really cheap and very, very smooth. And of course I have some Pride of Orkney and a bit of the Drambuie, which we don't use. And, oh, I have a cider. I'll keep that. If Tyler ever comes, you can have that, Tyler. And a few other bits and pieces, Jackson Triggs. So my Scotch collection, I like single malt Scotch. There's a Tomatin, Macallan, and I can't pronounce it, I'm not going to. But I really like Oban or Islay. I like them dry. This is stuff students give me. There's 2 bottles of this. This is some East European, whatever, plum brandy. Probably never drink it, but hey, it's the apocalypse, I might. Some more Scotch. Cheap Scotch, not bad. Some more Tomatin. For some reason I'm opening both of them. I guess I want to use it. Some Dalwhinnie. Some bits and pieces back there. Glenmorangie, which is always pleasant. Glenfiddich. There is some Scotch and some gin. So whether you're going to be working or not in this pandemic, don't indulge in alcohol or narcotics more than you normally would anyway. And try not to. It's very easy to use overeating or alcohol or smoking, whatever you're smoking, to cope with the stress. What you need to do is you need to be able to act. If you can act, stress tends to go into the back. The sister-in-law has been very nervous the last few days. She works as a nurse in the middle of nowhere, and she's been very nervous, but she's actually gone to work tonight, and she actually said she felt better going to work, even though they're pretty shabbily protected where she works. It's actually an old people's home. So doing stuff is always going to be better. So as you can see, I'm going through all my prepping stuff, getting the house ready for sale. I need to do it anyway, and I've been putting it off. Get occupation, not just for you, but for your spouse and your children, okay? This is not a vacation. This isn't the time to sit in front of Netflix for 18 hours at a stretch and get a blood clot in your leg and then try and get to the hospital. We don't want to see you. Look after yourselves, go for long walks without people around you. Use the library system. A lot of libraries in Toronto are online, and you can actually get books downloaded and music downloaded online. There's lots of online sources of reading and music available. Try and maybe even consider forming an online community so you can gather with like-minded people talk about specific things. Like I know a lot of my subscribers are very right-wing capitalist supporters. I mean, that's cool. But maybe you should start your own groups and have actual discussions of depth of stuff that's interested to you. You know, obviously if you've got painting, and you can paint, then paint. If you've got repairs to be done, get the repairs done. Use this time as productive as you can. It's going to be a mistake, in my opinion, sitting around for the next week or two waiting for things to get better. I think it's definitely going to be a 4 to 8 week, maybe a 12 week, maybe even a 16 week worst case lockdown globally for North America. Hope I'm wrong, but prepare for that and get ready for that and deal with that, because wanting something to be different doesn't make it different. And I think our emergency planners at work and our occupational therapy team at work, I think they've been wanting things to be different, and it's not going to be, and that's interesting. So yeah, like I say, the head of logistics at my workplace has actually responded to my latest email to him and some of the command structure, and he's actually going to look at the pandemic supply, and hopefully we can use the expired masks in some form or other, because any mask that's N95 is better than no mask. Okay, so that's it for me. Wish me luck. I'll probably post this tomorrow, and if I've got anything to say from work, I'll let you know. I am going to do improvised PPE, and I will be doing a few other bits and pieces, especially around home care, about how to actually wash somebody in bed. People have been focusing on stuff like fever and ARDS and death rates and all that. It's utterly irrelevant. This death rate of this flu is worse than anything we have had probably since 1918. It probably isn't as bad as 1918, but the death load is going to overwhelm healthcare. Selectively, maybe globally, nobody's quite sure. This is why the governments are taking stern notice of it. We're going to have massive austerity. Don't be like the people today that have been phoning into CBC radio complaining and moaning that EI is only 70% of their normal salaries and how they're supposed to live off it. You know what, it's not my problem. You should be really grateful you're getting 70% of your salary for weeks. Really grateful. And if you can't make do on that, then there's no hope for you anyway. People have got so used to just spending everything and just having just-in-time single supplying that we're going to have to get used to nothing is single use. Everything needs to be looked at before we use it. Everything we use we may not be able to replace. We're back to the 1930s, and hopefully once we get out of this we can stay with that mindset, because it's better for us, it's better for the economy in the long haul, and it's better for the planet. However, I suspect it won't be very long after this pandemic is over that we go back to our old ways, which will be a pity. We tend not to learn. Nobody learned after Spanish flu. Hygiene on the streets, not spitting and stuff, was really, really well done towards the end of that, and within a year or two it all gone. Anyway, that's all from me. Remember, in SHTF, tomorrow will always be worse than today, unless it's a pandemic, in which case tomorrow will always be worse than today. Who knows what the news will be when I upload this. Toodles.
As you see, Amsterdam starts clapping for the hospitals and the people. You see? Woo! Woo!
This has been a 2020 great, beautiful, nice cat production.